Hello and welcome in my first video in the Getting Started with VfrFlight series. I will cover here the toolbars, those here in the top and the one just below the map. So I will talk briefly about each of the button over here, and just explain briefly what it does. Okay, so let's get started. The first three over here are pretty self-explanatory. So if you hover anytime mouse cursor over any button, you will get the tip, what it does. Okay, so we have here new, open and save buttons. Here is export flight plan to PDF. So to make it work, we need cruise speed and we need at least 2 route points. So let's do this. Let's add this over here to the route and this airport, and let's put here our cruise speed 80 knots. Okay, once we're done, I select this, select the name for the file, and then we have the pilot's flight plan that we can print out and take to the plane or whatever. Okay, so further on here we have the buttons to export this flight plan to FSX or Prepare 3D, or here on the other way, sorry, the other way to import this back. Here we have the possibility to search. We can either put the ACAO code for the airport or VOR or anything else, or we can just put the part of name, let's say Gdańsk. Then we will get multiple results with all the objects that have this in their name. So we have here NDB, VOR or airport. If we double click on this, we see the position in the map. Okay, further on we have here add route. So we can, if we want to add more legs, we can put it over here. So let's add this VOR over here and this airport. So we do this by putting the codes for this, and basically that's all. So when I press enter, if we have something in database that is ambiguous, has multiple results, then the same as it was in the search button, we can double click on this. I really don't know why this VOR here is twice in database, but anyway, let's add one of these because they are the same. Okay, so as you can see, I will delete that. Just select and press delete key. Okay, so further on here we have the option to download weather. So either we can download METAR or TAF. We can download for the, like in the proximity of the route, or for current region, and that means the region over here that was selected. So let's select download over the route, and here we can see visualization of those METARs. The circle represents visibility from the weather station, and if the color is red, it means that the visibility is below 5 kilometers or 3 miles, so that means that it's below normal VFR conditions. If we select here to have more data under mouse cursor, we can read the whole report by ourselves. Also, those reports appear over here in this tab. I will explain all this panel in the further video, so I will just describe this briefly. So we have here METAR and TAF in the list, and if you want to clear this, we press this. But before do that, when you search for METAR and TAFs and you want to see that in the map, just make sure you have this layer selected. Otherwise, as you can see, it disappears. Okay, so let's clear that. Moving on, here we have another weather source. It's Meteo. It's a service for Central Europe. So if you press search, as you can see, you have some detailed information in the in some of the positions in the route. Okay, further on here we have add edit terrain layer. So when we push that, we have another dialog window. First we need to select the area with dragging our mouse with the left click, and here if you don't know what those options mean, here you can leave everything on auto. Those are explained in more details in documentation that is on the site, so we can also take a look there. The important thing, just to make it working, is to provide here the path to the HGT files. Those are the files that store elevation data. So let's select some directory. I will choose this one, temporary one. Okay, and I need to, because I have no files inside, I could either manually download this, or I can use just the option to auto download those. So it will download the zip archive and unzip this to this directory. So yes, let's continue. It will do this automatically, so that's pretty cool. Okay, and now we can press load. Right, so right now we have the elevation layer over here, and if we get if we checked in this to get more info, we can have the readout at exact position. Okay, we can also push it another time, and right now choose this, load and view in 3D. This will open new window with a 3D visualization, which is also cool. Also our route, we didn't adjust altitude, that's why it's underneath the terrain. But we can use the slider over here in the right, just to adjust the let's say ratio for the height. So for example, because this looks at the normal ratio, it looks pretty flat, because this area is pretty large in fact. So if we take a look at the scale, it's around what 20 nautical miles through 40, let's say. So the highest mountain over here has something like 1.5 miles, so that's why they look flat. So we can adjust that to I don't know, have better look into that. And also we can either draw the current map over this. You can select any map here and you will get here the result, or just with the color coded elevations. Okay, you can just move it with the if you push the left mouse button, you can move it, or with the mouse wheel just zoom in and zoom out, and with the right key just rotate. Okay, so now to get rid of this layer, just push this over here. Okay, sorry. Okay, the next is calculate vertical profile for root. Let's press this. You can either have the profile without terrain, which is quicker, you don't need those external files, and sometimes, right, because this is important also, I will select to have the airspaces visible over here, and when I select this again, I will also see those airspaces in the vertical profile. This is very nice to plan your VFR route with the airspaces. So you can choose, for example, to go below some airspace or above this. You will see that in this profile. Okay, so let's include the terrain. We already have this HGT files downloaded, so we don't need to do this again. And as before, if you're not sure what it does, just leave it as default, and this is covered in documentation, so you can check later. Let's press calculate, and what we have here is the vertical slice profile, or however you call this, that goes through terrain, right? So we also see here airspaces, right, and see here our route. So what we can do now, it's pretty cool just to plan your altitude for route points. We can add new route points if you right click over place and just drag this to select altitude, or use here change altitude to change it. So let's add point over here, right? So we'll go over this submit. Okay, it's pretty enough, right? And as you can see in the map, if you move the cursor, you also see those highlighted areas are the airspaces that you are inside at this moment of your route. You can also drag this above, right this, so it will automatically adjust the height, right? So this is pretty cool. You have also some other options over here. Yeah, here also you have minimum sector altitudes visible, so those are the same values that are over here in this magenta color. So it's basically the highest terrain in this area plus 1000 feet. So it basically means this. Or when we're talking about meters, is like plus 300 meters. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, let's close that. Okay. I will turn this off, so to declutter a little bit map. Also, the good way just to plan your route along the terrain is like combine those two things. So first let's add terrain layer, okay, and as you do this, you could see here which path to take. So it would be wiser to take, if we're flying in the lower performance plane and we need more time to reach this height, which is here at least 9000 feet. to get over those mountains. So we would choose this path over here just to have more time to gain altitude. So I will put the new waypoint over here and just drag it like this, let's say, or maybe something, let's say, okay, like this. And now again get this vertical profile, and here we need we have more time just to gain altitude, as I said. Okay. Further on we have here calculate route. It does the same that here. This button over here would appear only if you have all necessary data provided for the route. So it's completely the same. Okay, so later on here we have weight and balance. This is covered in details in documentation, but basically you can you have here some templates for some planes. You can add new template or delete existing one, or save your own one, and you can it calculates you the center of the gravity and here the torque, so you can check if it's inside the envelope from your manual pilot's operating handbook. Yeah. Okay. So further on, here we have user points. I covered this in details in another video, so you can take a look on that, and I will not explain this further here. Here we have settings, dialog. Here is the drop down to connect to your flight simulator or your GPS device that supports NMEA format. So first you select what you want to choose, and then if you press this button it tries to connect there. Okay, so this is the first row. Going on further, here we have the option to restrict display to some region. So basically you can select whole globe, and then VfrFlight would load all those map objects for all for the whole Earth, but only will display those in the visible area. But anyway, if you narrow this to the area that you use, you can also select smaller area, then you would get better performance with moving the map and doing other operations. So it's better just to narrow this. If you fly only in Europe, just choose Europe, etc., etc. Here you have the map layers drawing order. So if you want to change the order of drawing of some layers, for example, let's say that here I want to be NDBs over VORs, sorry. So I just look for NDBs, move up. So you see. So if you prefer different order, so that's onto you, because sometimes something could obscure other information in the map. Okay, here you have the shortcuts for Facebook page, a YouTube channel with the videos. Also this video here you can shortcut for the report back request feature form, and here the about window. Okay, Here I just check this multiple times during this video. So what it does, because when you have lots of objects, you could have your map pretty cluttered. So you can turn off labels over here, and when you move your cursor over some object, you will get some more detailed information. If you have this MSA layer turned on, this is here, then you get also save altitude value, which is basically the highest value of this MSA in 25 nautical mile radius. Okay, so here you have all different types of layers that you can turn on or turn off for the map. So here are the labels for objects, VORs, NDBs, airports, runway extensions, airports, runway and taxiway. So sometimes you could wonder why you don't have some of them visible in your instance of VfrFlight. The reason could be that you have different database important. If you have a default, let's call it default database, which is OpenAIP, you wouldn't get ILS icon or runway extensions, for example. But I have the database from P3D, which is simulator, flight simulator. So I have more options here. To import some data from other sources, you can use tools, manual tools. I will cover that also in different video maybe. Okay, so you have different type of layers over here, and here you have some options just to modify the look of your route. So just turn off labels or decrease or increase the fonts. Okay, so that's it for this part, and also we have here a few buttons. So new route, I covered this in one of the videos. Basically it's a kind of wizard for new route, so you can just take a look on the other video for this. Here you have GPS mode, so it only works with a flight simulator, either FSX Prepar or XPlane. Well, it also works with the GPS, but anyway, it works when you are connected here. It's some external source of your position information, and then it changes the map so it looks like kind of GPS readout. Here you can enter touchscreen mode for some touchscreen devices. I also covered this in separate video. Here you have option just to make this in kind of full screen, everything. So you can just change the size of the window, and then when you get this, you get the idea, of course. Okay, so this is it for the top toolbars. Here in the bottom, first one is here, so it makes the window stay on the top of the other one. So if I click here, I get this always on top. It is very useful if you want to have your flight simulator and you want this over your flight simulator window. So what you can do, just adjust the size of the window, click here. You can also do this, and now you have nice moving map, and here you can run your simulator. Okay, here this button turns on and off calculation in real time of the route. As you can see, just at the moment I entered cruise speed, I get more information here. If I delete this, okay, you see some information just was removed. Okay, I put this back. So here this MH stands for magnetic heading. So it means which is basically the heading, but corrected for wind and magnetic variation. So if I enter here some wind information, you could see that this is changing, right? So it changes in the real time. That is pretty cool. And if you turn this off, you get only magnetic heading information. Sorry, magnetic course. I think it's the naming. So it's not corrected for the wind. So right now, if I change this, it's not. It's only corrected for magnetic variation. Okay, so you can just basically turn it off just to save some performance if you have kind of slow laptop or whatever. So it won't calculate this all the time. Here you have some extended information under your cursor position. So here we have the GPS coordinates in two formats: decimal notation and let's say standard notation or whatever. And this white this blue numbers 4.4.2 in the white background, it is a magnetic variation at the point that you're looking. Sometimes it could be useful. Okay, further on you have here magnifying glass. Sorry. So you can use it to select some specific point. If you would need to do this, mostly it's done if you want to add some new data to the database. Okay. Here you have magnetic compass. The cool thing is that it automatically calculates the magnetic variation under the cursor and adjusts the compass. So as you can see, it does it automatically. It looks great on the United States, which has pretty large range of magnetic variation. Okay, here you have the distance circles, and of course you can also combine all of them if you would need for some reason. Okay, so further on here you have measurement lines or rulers, or however you want to call them. So basically, if you have 3-button mouse at least, you can use the third button, which is usually under your mouse wheel, just to have this measurement line. So as you can see, it shows you magnetic course, true course, the distance, and below, if you have your cruise speed entered, it shows you also the time that you need to reach that point. But if you also fill in the fuel data, let's do this by selecting some profile, you also get the amount of the fuel that you would burn. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so you can also do the same if you don't have like 3-button mouse, let's say. Just you can click this, and now with the left mouse button you can do exactly the same. Okay, if you select this, now you can draw multiple lines. So if you if you let go your mouse button, this will stay. So I can do this, let's say this, right? And the cool thing is that it changes automatically. Of course, if you have this selected, it calculates automatically everything. So as you can see, let's say, because here we would be flying from here to here, so if we're having headwind of 10 knots, it would take us 28 minutes. If we have like tailwind, it would take us 22 minutes, right? And also we would burn less fuel because we are less time flying. So I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's turn off this. Here you can select just unit for the distance for your measurement line. Also, when we're speaking about the units, you can change all of those ones here, like knots, like altitude, if you want altitude in meters, and speed in kilometers per hour or miles per hour. Start with miles per hour. Or if you want to have fuel in gallons, US gallons or imperial gallons, whatever you want, you can do this here in the setting dialog. So you can choose everything you want. That could be also cool. Okay, and the last section over here is map type, obviously. So it's basically pretty simple to understand what it does, right? So you can also click here just to edit the list of the maps, so you can either delete existing one or edit some of them or add new ones in the format. If you find some new one, you can do this, or change order or whatever. And here you have the possibility to download the currently selected map to your hard drive and then use it offline. I also covered this in one of the other videos, so you can check this out. Okay, so basically that was the last button. I hope now it makes more sense to you. As always, if you have some questions or any feedback, just put a comment below this video, or just mail me, or whatever you like to contact me. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, and see you next time.